never tire of talking about my own business and talking about the things that we've accomplished as a team. I'm not a one-man show. I'm not a person that likes to take credit for what the entire group has been doing for our success. I still have employees that have been with me since the day I opened my doors 22 years ago, and they adore me and I adore them, and we become family. And I think a lot of that goes back to the fact that I always wanted to be the boss that I never had, with the exception of one boss, Adam Bruner from Bethlehem Construction. He was a great boss, and I modeled a lot of what I did in my own business from the way he handled me and handled my other employees that I was responsible for. And so I just wanted to create an environment that people felt like they could be given the tools and be given a slight amount of training, and then they could run with it and create their own success in my restaurants. I graduated from Kashmir in 1989, and that was way before the internet. Went to school down in Idaho at Northwest Nazarene. Again, well, the internet that I used. It had big screens and big keyboards. So I went to school down in Idaho and got a degree in business management and a minor in finance. And so that didn't really send me on a direction. It was just kind of an overall degree that I could use that would give me a little taste of other business that's out there and how to handle myself, hopefully, in a professional setting. And so I came back from Idaho and worked for a fruit company here in town. Thought I had my dream job. I thought I was set up for the rest of my life. And on February 14th of 1997, I got terminated. And so that was really hard one for me to handle, because I thought that now I have this degree and I have this history in the Valley, and I've come back and the world's just going to roll out the red carpet for me, and here I go. Wasn't the case. So my dad found me standing on the railing of the bridge down here at the south end and said, "Don't jump, son, I have an idea." And so my father is my business partner from clear back in the starting days. He retired from the East Wenatchee Water District as their controller. So he has been doing my books for 23 years now and continues to do so. Great partnership. Most partnerships don't work out. It's a big hindrance of the success of businesses, because you have two differing views going different directions, and it's hard to get them back together and keep them coming. But the relationship with my family and my father has been terrific. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. So I give him a lot of credit. So clear back in 1997, I'm 26 years old and I'm unemployed, and I need to do something because I have a new wife, and I just brought her back to the Valley. She's from Idaho. And so now I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? What are my interests? And my father said, how about if we look at what you started out with, coming up through school, and what got you through high school and through college. So my first job was washing dishes at the Big Y Cafe, and scraping cheese off of plates for truckers was very humbling. And it taught me a lot about hard work, and taught me about the fact that I see Helen and Kay right there beside me doing all the dirty jobs. It's the exact thing I do with my restaurant too. Granted, I've pulled back a little bit now because I've gotten distracted with having two restaurants, and like Linda is saying, my latest business venture is the 108 Lounge. And it's downtown here right across the street, but the location is the interesting part. The Walkabout Grill, the original one when we started, was kind of a test kitchen. I just wanted to see if the idea would work in this valley. And on the cover of the newspaper way back in '97, there's a picture of me and my wife saying, this is something that the Valley didn't have. And so we brought this idea back to the Valley because it was a restaurant that we loved in college. So it has grown. We got kind of sidetracked on where we were going with the business because we didn't have a location yet. And downtown Wenatchee has gone through a lot of ebbs and flows, and we found this one spot across the street, but it happens to be down a long hallway. And all my business classes had always taught me location, location, location. Those are the things you really got to think about. So we said, okay, well, let's just test the idea here and test our recipes and test our business plan. And so we went ahead and took this really cheap rent, a really nice landlord, Bob Rowe, Robert Rowe, he's an architect here in town, and we opened down a hallway. And everyone said, ooh, that's not a good idea. And we said, well, it's just a test. We're going to give it 2 years and see if the plan works. Well, that 2 years has turned into 23 years because they won't let go of us. They won't let go and say, job well done, move on. So that's part of my plan, is how do I hand this business off? I have 4 kids, and I don't really want to see them go into the restaurant business because I've seen what the sacrifice is from time away from family. We're working all weekends, all evenings, all holidays. it's a rough life. I'm not going to lie to you. The restaurant business is a tough life. And so the part of coming here today is just to introduce myself again and say, what are your ideas for succession? How do you hand off? I see some different faces in here that might have some experience that I don't have with taking it to the next step. But I just want to be really careful that I do it correctly so that I don't ruin what we have created and the reputation that we've created. If I had taken on all this just today and plop, all of a sudden there's 3 businesses in my lap, it would have been overwhelming. It wouldn't have worked out. It would be so much that you just couldn't control it. But I think stair-stepping through this and starting out so young and opening Wenatchee and then just 5 years ago opening one in Leavenworth has given a little more experience and a little more seasoning as to what's realistic and what's not. We opened the 108 Lounge because basically the space was open in the building and we had an idea that's been working in Leavenworth by offering full beer, wine, and spirits to our customers, which we didn't have down here in Wenatchee. So the space came available and it's been sitting empty for a few years, and the owner of the building said, please, do you have any ideas? Can you make anything work there? And we said, yeah, for the right price we could. And so he gave us a really good rent and said, just take over the space and renovate it. And I said, how about some money to renovate it? And he goes, nope, you're on your own. Do it yourself. So we plan for, and in any business, you plan for X and you end up with Y. You got to have a contingency set up. You got to have a way to finish the project. We came in way over budget on this, and it has been a good return so far. It's not an overnight return. It's not an overnight success, but it's something that you have to work at every day. And you get to that point to where you start seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and that's the point that we're working towards. 108 Lounge is a great concept. It's dark, hole in the wall, speakeasy idea. It tags to the restaurant a little bit, but it kind of sets itself apart too. So we have access to the restaurant through a back door, but we also have a street access on this end for 21 and over, and then the family entrance over here. So we still have both entrances, and we just kind of tied the businesses together. And without the walkabout, the 108 wouldn't be there because you have to provide food. So we have the back door of the 108 that goes into the restaurant, so food can pass back and forth, and then drinks can then pass into the restaurant as well, so that you have a little bit of a flow there. It's not enough space to have its own kitchen. It's not enough space to have its own standalone stuff. So it just worked out really well for that location. And it's something that Wenatchee needed as far as the downtown goes to get a high quality cocktail. It's not a place with cheap booze, and we're proud of that. We're keeping the quality up. We're keeping up the quality of the customer as well, so that they feel comfortable coming in there and don't feel like they're being targeted or meat market singled out. So that has two sides. There's actually a chance of getting out, and then the other side of your comment is, sorry, you're stuck with it. You're going to die at the helm. And that's a very sobering effect too. I have 4 kids, and I'm discouraging them from the restaurant business. So I'm not looking to hand it off to them. Yeah. As far as the management goes, it's the same kids that I've had from when I opened.
So you might get one of them.
May, correct. Agreed. And location is another thing about that too, because people see that long hallway as a deterrent. Linda can attest to this too. It has not deterred our business at all.
But the buyer doesn't care about your hallway, they care about cash flow.
True. I think a buyer, yeah, there's a part of that, but a buyer's going to also look at the access, they're going to look at the parking, they're going to look at the convenience, they're going to look at, what is the face of, your facade, what is it that would be drawing in the customer base. For me, I believe that my long history in the Valley is really one of the big ones that we've done. We've created relationships, and I remind my employees all the time, we're not selling food necessarily. We're selling relationships, and we're selling a good feeling. We're selling how are we treating people? Why are they coming back? Because you can get your belly full anywhere in town. There's a lot of places to do that. So we're trying to we have created that environment where everyone is welcome until we decide you're not welcome anymore, which we have a very short list of those. Oh, my dream was to set up franchises was my original plan. And in looking at other franchises, it's super expensive to even get your first franchise. You know, it could be $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to even get the rights to the name on that. And I think to myself, is my business worth that? Is my name, the Walkabout Grill, worth that? Well, it could be to a lot of people, but is it going to be to the people that actually have the money to see that through? And I don't know if it is or not. We have a great business. We have a great reputation in town. Maybe Moses Lake, maybe Ellensburg, possibly Yakima. Keep it close, possibly Omak. Just to have a regional small chain is kind of what my dream was. And then when I start thinking about that, my mind races and I go, oh no, control. I'm losing control. There's no way I can keep my hands on all this. There's no way I can keep my eyes on all this. Standards are going to drop. I'm going to be disappointed. So I'm not setting myself up not to do it, but in the same time, maybe that's a project for the next person that's done it before, or the next person that has the ability to do that without being so concerned about those factors. And I don't know if that's me or if that's somebody else, but we've got a great idea. We've got a great business. It's been a lot of lessons that I've had to learn over these years, and I have made a ton of mistakes. When I think the description of entrepreneur, if you look it up in some of the new dictionaries, it just says crazy person, because it truly is a lot of variables that come at you that are out of your control. Some things are in your control, but some of them you're just like blindsided. Just making sure that that it can operate without me, is something that I experimented last year as I got distracted off a rabbit trail down the campaign trail last year. It really showed me that people can do more, especially if you give them the opportunity to do it. They're going to shine. They want to. You're going to have those that, they're going to make their own choices. But the majority of people are really wanting to do better for themselves. So it's giving them the tools to do that and the freedom to do that. It's a wrestle. It's a struggle in my head. It really is. Because I see things that I would rather have done my way, and my father taught me a long time ago, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So if it's getting done, and it's getting done to the level of success, let it be. Don't be so concerned about them taking a different route to get there. And so that's where just handing things off to the employees once they get the gist of it and letting them make those choices. So it is a tough one in your mind. I see it as a package deal. For me, I get bored really easily, and so I want to continue to do things, and I want to continue to figure out ways to make money. In my mind, I've always been an entrepreneur. No, it'd go with it, because you couldn't have the lounge without the walkabout. You'd have to do something for a kitchen. You'd have to do something to provide the food. And I've already had another restaurateur here in the valley come and say, "What do you want for that bar?" And so now it's kind of making me think, well, what if I did sell off just the bar portion, and everything's on the POS system now. Everything is computerized. It's very easy to break out the sales and break out the costs. So maybe you start sharing the kitchen in the back, or maybe we continue to provide the food. I don't know. For me, it was just building something else onto my business that would be a value added, that would make it more attractive to the next person to go, yes, I want that. I want a piece of that action. So there's several options there. But for me, more than anything, it's just building something that is of value to somebody else, if this truly is a time for me to get out. I don't know if it is. The economy's doing great. waiting to see how it trickles down to all of us that are down here in the actual economy, because the numbers are really good on the national level. But when does it finally hit us on the street here? When do we start seeing that pump up? I think there are some. Pacific Appraisals has a person that can do that. But then again, like your first statement was, be careful what you ask for, because it may not be as valuable as you thought. Except in this little valley, there's no secrets. Nothing stays secret very long.
You want to know that, because the buyer's going to end up wanting to know that.
Well, I think as soon as I get to that point, as soon as I get to that point where I'm like, honey, this is it, we're out of here. One of the promises, and I'm not telling Linda this, so I hope she's not listening, but for my daughters, they want horses. And I say, okay, if you want horses, we sell out and we move out. We're gone. Land's too expensive here to get a chunk of land where you can, build out and expand. And so they're like, no, Dad, we're not selling, we're staying here. Okay, so we're here. So the youngest one is 11. So in my mind, I keep thinking 9 years, 10 years, kind of on this 9-10 year plan. Do we stay? Do we take off? Do we liquidate? Do we fire sale? Do we continue to stick with it and die in it? Don't know. I've always done all those myself. I've got a really random approach to advertising. For me, it's a shotgun. Shoot it and see where they all land. Because I have yet to have anybody give me the real number as to what we're getting back on radio advertising, what we're getting back on Facebook advertising, what we're getting back on print advertising. Oh, print's dying. Oh, radio's dying. Everything's XM. Everything's playlist now. There's really no way to know. And so for me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I put a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. And the business has continued to come back. The business has continued to grow. We've been on a very nice incline for 20 plus years. And I hope that continues until we either get out or we burn out, which I hope doesn't happen, but that element is always there, especially in restaurants. The failure rate is extremely high in restaurants. And that was one of the things that I had blinders on when I came into this business. I thought, right on, my plan's gonna work, this is gonna be great. Oh man, this business is a struggle. Every day is a struggle. And like I teach the kids in the restaurant, I call them my kids, the kids in the restaurant, I always teach them, we're not working for today, we're working for tomorrow. Everything that we're doing today is setting us up for success tomorrow. So it just perpetuates itself off today's activities, today's planning, today's preparation, whether it's the food prep or the dry goods prep or the soda prep, whatever it is. We're just setting it up for tomorrow's success. And maybe that's short-sighted to me, I don't know. I don't look any further than tomorrow. I just want to make sure that today gets done and done well so that tomorrow starts out fresh day, ready to go. Oh, that was a brainstorm idea from Evan May. I don't know if any of you know him. He goes by E-Bob here in town. Sweet kid. Been with me for 15 years. We were over there working all the time, getting it done. We started the construction in, I think it was August, and then we took a short hiatus after the election, and then we started up again in January. And we finished it all January, and then we opened February 12th or 13th, I think. But we would always call each other, where are you at? Okay, yeah, I'm down at 108s already. Okay, because that's the address up there on the door. And we thought, that's kind of cute. That's kind of neat. That's kind of catchy. Where are you at? I'm down at the 108. Where are you at? 108s. I'm just down at 108s. It's the address. Where are you guys located? 108 North Wenatchee Avenue. And it kind of stuck. We had some other stupid names like Handlebar. We had Sidecar, or no, we had Sidewalk. What's that?
I guess because up in Leavenworth, right, it's just the walkabout.
Yeah, it's so tightly connected to that walk up there. I mean, there's nothing we could do. It does not have its own entrance up there. You have to go through the restaurant to get back there. So it kind of has to just stay that. I mean, we could call it Outer Mongolia. We had some really funny names that we could tag on there.
Your plan was always to kind of create
Its own little environment, yeah. But with the size limitations, unless we took half of that space and put in kitchen, now all of a sudden we have 20 seats. That's not going to pay its way. So we have a big kitchen back there. We've been running it for years. We know it's back there. We can expand that if we need to. Let's just go ahead and use this whole space for seating instead. So 108 is just kind of cute. Continue to support me and my wild ideas, and if you have some advice, give it to me. You know, maybe I'll take it, maybe I'll say, yeah, we've already tried that, or no, it's just totally out of my comfort zone. Keep the information flowing and stop in and say hi, and I'll try and do the same with your businesses as well. You know, I want to find out where you guys are at and what you're all up to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.